The average smartphone is 1,000 times more powerful than the computer that guided us to the moon. But what if someone told you that 2,000 years ago, an engineer designed a machine so complicated it would take NASA decades to figure out how it worked? It's true, and that's just one of many ancient technologies that could change everything forever. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about ancient technologies that could change everything forever. We're all familiar with the phrase, "those were the good old days." But when it comes to technology, things weren't necessarily better in the past. For example, in ancient Rome, people had running water and flush toilets, while most of Europe didn't even have indoor plumbing until the 19th century. However, there were some ancient technologies that were way ahead of their time and are still relevant today. As our world faces major problems like climate change, a dwindling supply of fossil fuels and population growth, looking back at history could be the key to saving us. So from a super material that's stronger than steel to an ancient machine that could save lives, here are 5 ancient technologies that could change everything forever. The world's oldest computer. The Antikythera mechanism is an ancient Greek hand-powered device used for astronomical calculations and predictions. It was discovered in 1902 by a team of fishermen near the Greek island of Antikythera, who found it in an old Roman shipwreck. At first glance, it looks like a bronze gear with nothing particularly remarkable about it. However, researchers quickly realized that this device had far more moving parts than anyone had ever seen before. Over the next several decades, scientists made incremental discoveries about the artifact's functionality, eventually determining it was actually the world's first analog computer. Researchers believe it was created sometime before 70 BC and was likely used by astronomers to track planetary positions and predict eclipses. What makes this device so amazing is that it's nearly 2,000 years old. And yet it took scientists until the 1970s to figure out how it works. Some historians argue that the Antikythera mechanism is evidence of a long-lost civilization with advanced technological knowledge. Others claim that it was created by a secret society of mathematicians and astronomers who refused to reveal their secrets to the public. Whatever the truth may be, the Antikythera mechanism is an incredible feat of engineering, and its discovery has taught us a great deal about the ancient world. Concrete. Concrete is everywhere. It's in our homes, our roads, and even our water towers. But did you know that Romans invented this versatile building material over 2,000 years ago? In fact, Roman concrete was so strong that it's still standing today, even in structures that are thousands of years old. One reason why Roman concrete was so durable was because of the ingredients that went into its construction. Romans used volcanic ash from Mount Vesuvius, which contains high levels of silica, as well as seawater, which provided additional strength and durability. They also used a technique called pozzolana concrete, which involved mixing volcanic ash with lime and aggregates such as crushed stone or brick. This mixture was incredibly strong and resistant to earthquakes, which was important in a region that was prone to seismic activity. Another reason for the longevity of Roman concrete is that it was often reinforced with steel bars or other metals, which helped to distribute the weight of the structure and prevent it from cracking or breaking. This technique of using metal reinforcement in concrete is still used today and is known as reinforced concrete. In recent years, engineers have been trying to replicate Roman concrete in order to learn from its durability and strength. One team of researchers at the University of California, San Diego, has developed a new type of self-healing concrete that uses bacteria to repair cracks as they appear. The idea is that instead of having to wait for a crack to become too big and then manually repairing it, the concrete can heal itself automatically, extending its lifespan and reducing maintenance costs. This breakthrough has the potential to revolutionize the construction industry and make buildings and infrastructure more sustainable and cost-effective in the long run. Bulletproof glass. Bulletproof glass is a necessity in our world today. Police cars, bank ATMs, and even airplane windows are made with bulletproof glass to keep everyone inside safe. But did you know that this technology wasn't invented in the 20th century? In reality, bulletproof glass was first developed by the Romans. Their innovation was simple. A layer of wood was placed between 2 layers of glass to create a window that could withstand an arrow or small stone. Although not as effective as modern bulletproof glass, Roman glass was strong enough to protect those inside from harm. One example of this technology in action can be seen at the Tower of London, where the Romans built a wall around the city in the 3rd century AD. The wall was designed to keep invaders out, but it also protected the citizens of London from bandits and other threats. The wall still stands today and is a testament to the power of Roman engineering and innovation. Sustainable farming. Sustainable farming is becoming more and more important as our world faces the challenge of feeding a growing population without depleting natural resources. Fortunately, this practice isn't as new as you might think. In fact, the Mayans were some of the first people to use sustainable farming techniques. They lived in Central America from around 2000 BCE to 1697 CE and developed a sophisticated civilization with a complex social structure and impressive feats of engineering. Despite their advanced culture, the Maya were ultimately undone by their own success. As their population grew, they began to exhaust their resources, and their empire eventually collapsed. However, before their downfall, the Maya had developed a number of innovative farming techniques that allowed them to grow crops without damaging the environment. These techniques included terracing hillsides to create flat surfaces for planting, building small dams to create artificial ponds for irrigation, and using a 3-field crop rotation system that helped maintain soil fertility. Today, farmers around the world are taking note of these ancient methods and adapting them to modern agriculture. By using sustainable farming practices, farmers can produce enough food to feed the world's population without depleting natural resources or damaging the environment. Glass blowing. Glass blowing is an ancient craft that dates back thousands of years. It involves the shaping of molten glass into objects of various shapes and sizes, such as bottles, jars, and windows. The process requires skill and precision and is used to create everything from simple household items to intricate works of art. But did you know that the first person to invent glass blowing was an ancient Syrian craftsman named Corning? Corning lived in the city of Apamea in the 1st century BC and is said to have invented the technique accidentally while experimenting with different ways to melt glass. He noticed that by blowing air into a hollow tube filled with molten glass, he could create a bubble that could be shaped into various forms. This invention revolutionized the production of glass and made it possible to create objects that were thinner and more delicate than before. Before Corning's invention, glass objects had to be made by hand, which was a slow and laborious process. Glass blowing allowed for mass production of glass objects, which made them more affordable and accessible to the general public. The technique spread quickly throughout the Roman Empire and beyond, and glass blowing became an important trade in many countries. Today, glass blowing is still an important craft, and there are master glass blowers who create stunning works of art that are sold for millions of dollars. These ancient technologies are a reminder that many of the innovations we take for granted today were first developed thousands of years ago. From the Antikythera mechanism to glass blowing, these inventions have stood the test of time and continue to shape our world in big and small ways. As we look to the future, it's important to remember the lessons of the past and build on the innovations of those who came before us. Who knows what incredible technologies we'll be able to develop with a little ingenuity and a lot of hard work. Let me know in the comments which ancient technology you find the most fascinating. And don't forget to check out my other videos. Thanks for watching.